Hey, how are you? Happy Friday. Woohoo, it is Friday. I mean, it's not as quite as pretty as it was yesterday here where I am, but it's Friday. So I hope you are having an amazing Friday. So one of my favorite things about Friday is we do our Desire Academy meetings on Fridays, which is a really great way to end the week, I feel like. And you know what I think is also really cool about it is, a lot of times the work week gets a little bit lighter by Friday. And so, you can sit and be present for it. And then you can implement a lot of the stuff during your time on the weekend. That's kind of what I like. But what we, uh, what we talked about today was empath empowerment. And I just felt like, wow, this is something I should probably, well, I want to uh, go out and talk to other people about because I feel like empath is something that sort of getting thrown around a lot lately, but people might not necessarily appreciate quite what it is or understand or what have you. So I just wanted to come over and say hello and just talk a little bit about it. Hey, Wise, it is so good to see you. We need to catch up, my friend. But yeah, so okay. Uh you may have heard people say like the five clairs, right? Or like the spiritual gifts. Like some people are clairvoyant, where they have a seeing, right? They see things. Some people are clairauditory. They hear things. They hear like messages. Some people are claircognizance, where all of a sudden there's just this knowing, this like just this message comes to them and they just know that this is the truth, this is the guidance, right? And some people are clairsentient, okay? And those are our empaths. Clairsentience is that very sensitive to feelings, okay? um and this is something that we're hearing a lot more of because more and more empaths are waking up to their gifts. Okay. You know, as a society, as a culture, as a community, we're transitioning into another level of consciousness, quite honestly. And in doing so, we're waking up to more of these sensitivities. And empath being a really powerful one. And there's a reason. I mean, empaths are really needed right now. It's like, this is your time. Okay. This is when you're really needed. And so this is why I really like to support empaths to feel grounded and secure and protected and empowered so that you can get out there and make the world a better place. Be one of those change makers that you desire to be. Um, so yeah, the the empaths are the people who walk into a room and feel the energy in the room, right? If you have ever walked into a room and like immediately had this like ooh, right? Or a right? You just feel the energy. If somebody is really angry or negative or just like there's something going on in a room, you feel it. You feel that. Um, if you've ever walked into a store in a really great mood and then halfway through your trip in the store, like all of a sudden you're just angry or upset or for nothing's happened, but all of a sudden your whole mood has changed. You have probably picked up on somebody else's energy. Okay. Um, and I hear this stuff all the time. Like I'll hear people talk about like, I don't know, I was perfectly fine and now I'm like completely depressed And I mean stuff that like nothing in their life situation has changed since the beginning of the day. And here we are in the afternoon and like they're in tears. They've picked up on somebody else's stuff. Okay. Um, what else? If people have a tendency to approach you and tell you their life story, this is another indication that you're probably an empath. People feel your energy. They feel that sensitivity in you and they're drawn to you like a moth to a flame, and they just come and they start to tell you their entire story. And I remember, God, years ago, my early 20s, I walked into a store, and the woman working there ends up telling me this whole story about being or about a horse that she had as a child and how much it meant to her in this like whole thing. And it was like very random. Okay. But it was clearly something she needed to release that day. And there I was, you know. So the thing about being an empath is a lot of times you may lean towards introversion because that can be really overwhelming to have people just unburden themselves on you. Okay. Um, a lot of times it can be stressful, right? And it can be depleting. Okay. So as an empath, for a long time, actually, I felt like, oh my gosh, you know, I need to hide away. I need to just figure out strategies, right? Like, I don't go to state fairs, okay? Like, there's, you know, these big crowds and things, like how to avoid big crowds and how to work my life so that I'm not in these situations. And I almost felt like, I don't want to say like it was almost like a disability, but it kind of, I did. I guess I kind of did. Like I was working out ways to figure out how to create these accommodations in my life to be an empath in this world. And I mean, you know, if you're in my age bracket, you probably did not get a lot of training on being an empath in your formative years. You were probably told to stop being so damn sensitive and, you know, quit it and, you know, whatever. Right? There was not a lot of education happening on the whole topic of being an empath. So you were left out there flailing and learned how to do things on your own. Okay. So the idea that being an empath is actually a gift and that you can be empowered as an empath was really like this for me, this like mind blown. And I really, I started to learn more and more about it. I started to put together practices and different things to ground myself, to protect myself, and to step into my power as an empath. And that is that's what what I was talking to the Desire Academy about today, and teaching them how to do it. But what was really cool for me about doing that is I realized how far I've actually come with it. I've I've realized that, you know, some of the things that I had to do before I could even go out into public, right, to protect myself, I actually don't have to do those things as much. Like every once in a while, there's a situation where like something feels really intense and I lean back on it. But overall, it's not something I have to regularly do just to go out into the world because I have strengthened myself so much as an empath. Um, and again, I was talking about it's like this muscle, right? When you work out and you get stronger, it's that same idea. Like you strengthen that empath muscle so that you are not as vulnerable and not as sensitive, at least in a way that's depleting to you. Okay. But you are now more protected, and you're able to be of service to people with boundaries, right? And that is a gift. So, yeah, I'm just curious if, well, who are my empaths out there? Say hi. I love to see my empaths, and I tend to find that most of them are drawn to me. So I'm sure if you are watching this, you probably are one of them. But maybe what are some of your ways of protecting or uh, empowering yourself as an empath? How are you using your gifts as an empath? And are you just now realizing, maybe I am one? Okay. I would love to hear it. Put some stuff in the comments. And, as always, if you want some support, reach out to me, because this is the stuff I do. And I see you. I love you. I believe in you. Have an amazing Friday and amazing rest of your weekend. Sending you so much love.